All right, it is day number 2 of the NBA Cup. Of course, the in-season tournament is happening right now, and we have got more in-season tournament games tonight here with the NBA. I believe there are 11 games, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, all of them are in-season tournament games, headlined, I guess, by, I would say, the Phoenix Suns and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then I guess the Grizzlies and the Warriors. Also, you got the Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs on the slate as well. So those are your big games here for the NBA tonight. Of course, in-season tournament, all these games matter for the IST, which, you know, it doesn't really matter for the fans. Not really, but, you know, it is what it is. The players are really, you know, pumped up to play for the $500,000. So, folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. In about an hour, we will have our college basketball predictions, which are also daily here on the channel, as well as make sure to go check out our NFL predictions. Links are in the description down below for that, our college football picks, and our UFC 309 picks with John Jones and Steve Miocic in the main event from Madison Square Garden tomorrow night. Real quick, I guess if you want to pick for Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, we're going Jake Paul within under 3 minutes. So in the first round, Jake Paul will knock out Mike Tyson. That's my pick. You know, my grandfather had Muhammad Ali. My father had Mike Tyson. I have Jake Paul. Our first game is the Indiana Pacers versus the Miami Heat. We're taking the Indiana Pacers to cover the 4.5 points, and we're taking the Pacers to win the basketball game. Believe it or not, for how poorly the Pacers have played this season, I think they're like 5th in the Eastern Conference, which goes to show, yeah, they are 5th. It goes to show how bad the Eastern Conference is right now. You've got the Cavs at 13-0 undefeated, the Celtics at 10-3, the Magic have a winning record at 7-6, and then everybody else. New York 5-6, Indiana 5-6, Bulls 5-7, Hawks 5-7, Nets 5-7, Heat 4-6, Pistons 5-8. Those are the playoff teams right now in the Eastern Conference. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I think the Pacers are going to be able to beat the Miami Heat. If you remember from last season, the Indiana Pacers were a team that excelled in the in-season tournament. I went to their game where they beat the Boston Celtics in the round of 8 in the in-season tournament. Crazy environment at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse last season, but the Pacers, again, rose to the occasion last season in the in-season tournament. I would expect them to do the same again this season. And the thing about the Miami Heat, I don't know if Jimmy Butler's playing. I don't think he is. Regardless if Jimmy plays or not, this game is in Indiana. The Pacers are the better team. I get it, they're 5-6, and they've been very often on this season, but when you compare both the Pacers and the Miami Heat, Indiana is the much more solid team, and in a playoff-type environment, which this game is, I like the Pacers more than Miami. This Heat team relies on Tyler Hero to chuck up a million shots a game, and sure, Hero's a great scorer, but they don't really have much besides Tyler Hero on this team. Of course, the Jimmy Butler injury, Bam Adebayo obviously as well, but other than that 1-2, I mean, you get Terry Rozier, you get, you know, Jamie Jaquez, you get Duncan Robinson. Like, it's just, I don't really like the Heat that much this season. Watching them play, they're very just mediocre. They lost to the Pistons in their last game on Tuesday. You look at the Pacers, I get it. This is a very often on team. Tyrese Halliburton, again, I feel like I'm going to make this comp, and I might get hate for this. The Winter Soldier, Tyrese Halliburton, is going to be our generation's Chris Paul. I think he is, genuinely. Perennial all-star, great assist numbers, not the best scorer sometimes. That's kind of where I want to compare Tyrese Halliburton right now. I don't know if that's a great comp, but I feel like it kind of is. I don't know. I need Tyrese to get it going, you know, in terms of shooting, though. Like, he started that game 0 for 8 against the Magic in their last one that they lost, eventually hit 2 threes. But, I mean, Tyrese finished the game with, like, 9 points. He had 14 assists in that game. I want to see Tyrese score some more. I'm just saying. But give me Indiana to beat Miami. They're the way better team. I mean, this is the classic Victor Oladipo matchup between the Heat and the Pacers. This is the can I come play for y'all game. Give me Indiana to win the game, and they'll cover the 4.5 points as well. Next up, we go on to Orlando. We've got the Orlando Magic taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm very close to picking the Sixers in this game, but I will go with Orlando here. The Magic play much better basketball at home than they do on the road. This is a team that doesn't lose at home. I don't think they've lost at home all season long, and all of their losses, except for their opening night win against the Miami Heat, have come on the road. So essentially, they're 1-5 on the road. Sorry, they're 1-6 on the road, but they're 6-0 at home. Orlando's a much different team at home, and I get it again. No Paolo Banchero still, but Franz Wagner, we mentioned it a couple of games ago with the Magic, Someone needed to step up for the Orlando Magic. I didn't know if it was going to be Suggs. I didn't know if it was going to be Wagner. It's Franz Wagner. He has led their team in scoring every single night their last 8 games. And they're winning now. It's not like they're just beating bad teams either. They beat the Pelicans, they beat the Wizards, they beat the Hornets. Well, no, they went out there and beat the Indiana Pacers. The Magic are legit. They have found their identity without Paolo Banchero. And again, they're only going to get better when Banchero does come back from injury, but I like Orlando in this game. You get them at home. I understand the Sixers, again, are back to full health now. Embiid's back, Paul George is in the lineup, and I want to give a huge shout out to Jared McCain. Jared McCain right now is on pace to win Rookie of the Year. Now, will he stay that? I don't know. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey needs to come back, obviously. So they're not at full health yet. But they got Paul George back, they got Joel Embiid back, and Jared McCain is right now their number one scorer. He looks like the number one option right now for the Philadelphia 76ers. And shout out to, again, Jared McCain, who I liked a lot at Duke. I didn't know he was going to have this in him in the NBA, but I'm happy for the guy. I'm not going to lie. I mean, imagine losing a basketball game, which, again, they've only beat Charlotte so far with Jared McCain going crazy. But I found this on TikTok, and I'll play it real quick. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for this very short audio I'm going to play. But this is so facts, is it not? I mean, just like, imagine getting 34 points dropped on your head, and this guy's dancing and making TikToks in the cold tub, in the ice tub after the game. I mean, again, I like Jared McCain, but, the dude's a baller. But imagine that, right? Like, you get, this guy drops 30 on your head, and he gets back and he starts dancing to Rich Baby Daddy by Drake and Sexy Red. I'm just saying. I think Philadelphia is going to get better as the season progresses. I think they need to put Jared McCain in the starting lineup, I think he helps them out a lot more than Kyle Lowry. I get it, McCain leads the second unit, but still, Jared McCain's, he's a proven scorer right now. I think they're going to be really good when Maxey comes back, truly. I think they found a really good starting lineup, especially with, again, McCain. Obviously, you got Paul George, you've got Joel Embiid, and you're going to have, of course, Tyrese Maxey coming back in as well. But I do like Orlando to win this game. They're at home. They're a much different team at home, and they're a better team at home. And Franz Wagner has really done well for this Orlando squad. Give me the Magic to win this game. I think they will cover the spread as well. It's 1.5 points. Next up, we go on to Toronto. We've got the Raptors taking on the Detroit Pistons. I like the Pistons to win this game. I'm going to keep fading the Raptors this season just because I don't believe in this team at all. I really don't. The Raptors are 0-1 in the in-season tournament. The Pistons are actually 1-0. Detroit won their game on Tuesday against the Milwaukee Bucks. They beat the Miami Heat. Detroit's a weird team, yeah, but there's 5-8. Of course, this is the Cade Cunningham show. Let's just say how it is. Jaden Ivey obviously is going to produce as well, but primarily this is just Cade Cunningham's squad. The Toronto Raptors, I cannot pick this team. I will not pick this team. Scotty Barnes is their identity, and if Scotty Barnes is not playing, what do they have? You got Dick on their team. Grady Dick on their team. You've got RJ Barrett. But other than Dick and Barrett, it's just, this team's not good. They've won 2 games this season. They beat Philadelphia, and then somehow they beat Sacramento, which still doesn't make sense to me. They played twice in the span of 4 days, and they won the game in Toronto against the Kings. I don't understand it. Of course, that was the game where, Drake said he'd climb up he'd scale the roof to go rip down a DeRozan banner. It is what it is. Toronto won the game, but they're 2-10. They're not a good basketball team. Without Scotty Barnes, you cannot trust this team to win basketball games. Detroit, believe it or not, is the much better team. This is a team that's dealing with a bunch of injuries, by the way. Jaden Ivey's questionable for tonight. Tim Hardaway's questionable for tonight. Same with Asar Thompson's not playing, obviously, but you got a bunch of guys who may or may not play tonight. I don't really care. I don't care the game's in Toronto. The Pistons are the better basketball team, which is something I did not think I was going to be saying this time last year, but the Pistons are just better than Toronto. They are. Again, they are 1-0 in the in-season tournament. The Raptors are 0-1. We like Detroit a lot in this game. Give me the Pistons to go on the road and win. They are road favorites, and they are going to capitalize. Give me the Detroit Pistons to win this game against the Toronto Raptors. Next up, we go to Atlanta. You've got the Atlanta Hawks, who are 1-0 in the in-season tournament, and, are in a good spot to make the second round of this in-season tournament. Guys, there's going to come a time where the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to lose a basketball game. It might happen against the Boston Celtics because they're both in the same group. The Atlanta Hawks somehow got by the Boston Celtics. Shout out to Trae Young. He is the most underappreciated superstar in the NBA. I absolutely love Trae Young. He's a dog. He does it all for the Atlanta Hawks. He averages 24 and 12. Ridiculous numbers. And they've gotten him help this season with Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, Dyson Daniels has been playing really well as well. You get Rissasher, obviously, who was the first overall pick in the draft. Onyeka and Okongwu, of course, Clint Capella, Garrison Matthews, Larry Nance. All those guys average more than 10 points a game. That's great. Atlanta's going to be a team that's going to be in the playoffs this season. I truly believe it, and I fully believe that. Again, they've found production outside of Trae Young, and that's what makes this team better than the last couple of Atlanta teams that we've seen. And I get it. They had DeJounte Murray last season, but getting rid of DeJounte Murray, not the worst thing for Atlanta. Now, again, unfortunate circumstances. DeJounte Murray's out for a while with the Pelicans, and who we will continue to fade until the end of time. We will fade them again today, spoiler. But Atlanta will absolutely beat the crap out of the Washington Wizards. The Wizards have not won a game since they did beat the Hawks twice on October 28th and October 30th. They played one in DC, they played one in Atlanta. And yes, the Wizards didn't win both those games. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. This team doesn't play defense. They are a horrible defensive team. We saw Victor Wembanyama drop 50 points in their head, even though Jordan Poole had 42 in his own right, so shout out to the Poole party. But this team doesn't play defense. They get outscored and outran in every single game, and I'd expect the Hawks to finally get their get back. There is no way the Atlanta Hawks lose their third game this season to the Washington Wizards. There's no chance. Again, the Wizards have won 2 games all season. They're not going to win their third, with them all being the Atlanta Hawks. If the Wizards win this game, I'm going to start believing in some devil magic, that the Wizards can only beat the Atlanta Hawks. There's something wrong if the Hawks lose this game in Atlanta tonight. There's something wrong. They are minus 365 favorites. They're getting 8.5, and it's an in-season tournament game. No way, no how do the Atlanta Hawks lose this basketball game. Coming off a win over the Celtics, they can go to 2-0 in the group play, in the group stage. Give me Atlanta. They are a sneaky team to get out this group. If not, they could definitely get that wild card. That's all I'm saying. They definitely could get the wild card. If Cleveland beats Boston, then you might get a Cleveland-Atlanta game. Winner, of course, wins the group. Loser is the wild card. That's all I'm saying. Give me the Atlanta Hawks to put BTA to the Washington Wizards. They will run it up. Again, these spreads are not horrible to bet on because teams are actively going to try to run it up because the tiebreaker for the wild card is point differential. So Atlanta's going to try to put as many points on the Washington Wizards as possible. That's why they will easily cover the 8.5 points, just like how the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to easily cover the 10.5 points against the Chicago Bulls. The Cavs, again, are the best team in basketball right now. They are right now. Are they going to win the chip? Probably not. But the Cleveland Cavaliers right now are playing like the best team in basketball because they are. They're 13-0. They're undefeated. It will go to 14-0. They are not losing to the Chicago Bulls, who have won 2 of 3 over the Hawks and the Knicks. They lost to the Cavs in between, but exactly. They just lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're going to lose again. They lost that game against Cleveland and Chicago. Now they got to go to Cleveland, Ohio and play this basketball game. I would expect the Cavaliers to absolutely dominate. Again, it's either you get a big night out of Donovan Mitchell, you get a big night out of Darius Garland, you get a big night out of Evan Mobley. It doesn't matter. Someone's going to rise to the occasion for this Cavs team. They play excellent defense. They dominate on the glass as well. It is so hard to beat this Cleveland Cavaliers team right now. Again, I think the worst they go to start the season this year will be 15-0. I don't think they lose on Sunday at home against the Hornets. Boston on Tuesday night on the road, that's a ball game because they will be 15-0, I think, going into that game. I think. Now, hear me out. If they beat Boston, that's 16-0. They're not losing to the Pelicans. That's 16-0. Raptors is 17. Boston 16. New Orleans is 17. Toronto's 18. Hawks, 19-20. Boom, you get another Boston game. So there's a chance that the Celtics are going to be able to get a chance to end this. They get an in-season tournament game on Tuesday, but they get a chance to end this undefeated Cavs run at both 15-0 and at 20-0. We will see. But the Cleveland Cavaliers are beating the Chicago Bulls. I don't have a doubt in my mind. The Bulls, again, are an up-and-coming team that I think can actually sneak into the playoffs this season, but no one's beating Cleveland right now. And again, with that added, extra thing of, the tiebreaker is, point differential, the Cavaliers are going to win this game by more than 11 points or more than 10 points. They will do that fairly easily. I feel pretty confident in that. Games at home for the Cavs too. They're going to completely try to, blow this team out. It's to a certain extent what the Magic did to the Hornets in the first, on Tuesday. They won the game by 25 points. They did not let up at the end of that game. Orlando was trying to put as many points on the Hornets as possible, and that's exactly what they did. So I'd expect, again, the Cavs try to run it up tonight. I think they'll beat up on the Bulls here, and they'll cover the points pretty easily. Next up, we go on to the battle in New York. The Brooklyn Nets taking on the New York Knicks. I don't mind the spread here for the Nets. It's 9.5. Brooklyn plays spoiler to literally every single team in the league. Yes, they're 5-7, but they are perfect in trying to cover the spread, it feels like. I know they just got blown out by Boston in their last game, but I feel like, again, Brooklyn's hitting at about an 80% rate this year about on covering the spread. They keep games very close, and it's because of their shooting. We mention it every single time, but they have so many guys who are just able to produce and able to shoot the basketball on this Nets team. Again, I watched their full game against the New Orleans Pelicans on, was it Tuesday night? They shot 45% from three-point land in that game, and again, everybody on this team, it feels like, can shoot. Seriously. All these guys are going to take shots, except for Ben Simmons from beyond the arc, literally, and Nick Claxton will not take shots either, but Zaire Williams is going to take his shots, Cameron Johnson's going to shoot, Cam Thomas is an elite scorer in the NBA, Dennis Schroeder's going to take his three-pointers, Noah Clowney off the bench, Jalen Wilson, Keon Johnson. All these guys are going to shoot in the Brooklyn Nets, and that's what keeps them in basketball games. Are they going to win all these games? No, but they will remain close, and that's why huge spreads against the Brooklyn Nets, you are dumb to bet on a huge spread against the Brooklyn Nets, okay? Sure, you might cash every once in a while, but this is a good enough team and a good enough shooting team to the point where they're not going to get blown out in games. Now, I get it. The Knicks, they're going to try to run it up this game. Well, the Knicks struggle. They just lost to the Chicago Bulls on Wednesday. They won their first IST game at beating the Philadelphia 76ers on the road. And yeah, they got 46 points out of out of Karl Anthony Towns in that Bulls game. But at the same time, where was Jalen Brunson in that game? Jalen Brunson scored 24 points. Okay, I was thinking of the Sixers game where he didn't show up. But regardless, I don't think the Knicks are able to get that far away from that in this game. Again, Cat dropped 46, Jalen Brunson scored 24. They still lost to the Chicago Bulls. We just talked about, they're going to get blown out by the Cavs, which they are. But New York, again, they're 5-6. The Nets are 5-7. I don't really see this line at all. I was looking, is anyone injured on the Nets? No, it's still Bojan Bogdanovic is the only one not playing. I believe Nick Claxton's going to play. He's questionable. And for the Knicks, again, they have a lot of scorers. Don't get me wrong. You got Cat and Jalen Brunson are questionable. They will play the in-season tournament game. Trust me, they will. But I like Brooklyn, man. Not to win the game. I'll take New York, but the game is at Madison Square Garden. But again, the Nets are too good of a shooting team to get blown out. They will stay in basketball games, and that's what they're going to continue to do this entire season. I truly believe that. Give me the Brooklyn Nets to cover the 9.5 points. I will take the Knicks to win the basketball game, but the real pick here is plus 9.5 for the Brooklyn Nets. Next up, we go on to San Antonio, Texas. You've got the Spurs taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. We like the Lakers here. We like the Lakers by a lot. The Lakers are finding their footing right now. They have won 3 in a row. Sure, they were all at home, and they are perfect at home this season. And they have been bad on the road, don't get me wrong. In their first road trip, they went 1-4. The only win being in Toronto. Losses to both Phoenix, Cleveland, Detroit, and Memphis. They go back on the road for the Spurs game. If I know anything about the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James, they are going to try their hardest to win the in-season tournament. They did it last season. They're going to try to go back-to-back in this thing. The Los Angeles Lakers are the only team in the association who has a banner. They have 17 of them, but another one that says in-season tournament champions. I was there when they unveiled the banner. The players did not give a damn. They did not care that banner was going up. They had to do a little ceremony before the game, before they lost to the New York Knicks. But that was great. The Lakers are going to try their hardest to win this basketball game. They are so motivated to go out here and win, and obviously nationally televised game, they should beat the San Antonio Spurs. I don't really have a doubt in my mind they're not going to win this basketball game. I get it, the Lakers are worse on the road. Anthony Davis is questionable. He should play this game, and he should be able to limit this Victor Wembanyama madness, and I get it. I like Wemby, right? Wemby dropped 34 in the win over the Kings, 50 in the win over the Wizards. They're on back-to-back wins. They've won 3 of 4. I get that. The Spurs are still 6-6 though, and the Spurs are still the Spurs. If you take away Wembanyama, this team is incredibly mediocre, and that's what I'm hoping Anthony Davis does in this game. And that's kind of what we are, relying on AD to do, and that's why we think the Lakers are going to run it up on the Spurs, because once you take away Wembanyama, who's the next scoring option on this team? Truly. I guess it's Devin Vassell. Maybe Champagnie can hit his shots. It's obviously not Chris Paul, and Keldon Johnson now comes off the bench. You take away Wembanyama, you win the basketball game. And that's what the Lakers are going to do. They're playing great basketball right now. They have a D'Angelo Russell problem. He's just not good. I'm going to be honest with you guys. D'Lo pisses me off so much. He's averaging 12 points a game in 30 minutes. It's horrible. But I love the big three right now at the Lakers. I'm loving Davis, Reeves, and LeBron. It's working, man. Anthony Davis, best player in basketball. LeBron James, at his age, is still a top 5 player in the game. It's crazy. And again, LeBron's on season 22. He likely only has 23 in his career. Enjoy it while it lasts. LeBron's got 2 more, including this one, and he's still playing like one of the best players in the NBA. It's insane. Give me the Los Angeles Lakers to go out here and win this game against the San Antonio Spurs. You shut down AD, you win the basketball game. The Lakers have more talent. The Lakers are the better team. They should be able to go into San Antonio and win this basketball game, and I'm not too concerned about it. Give me the Lakers to win, going to 1-0 in the in-season tournament. Next up, we go to Houston. We've got the Los Angeles Clippers going to Houston to take on the Rockets. Now, we just saw this game, and I'll be honest, I did pick the Clippers. I'm now going with the Rockets. After watching that first game, okay, I'm going to stop picking against the Rockets all the time, all right? Now, as soon as I do this, because I've been very against picking the Rockets just because I feel like this team is going to fall apart, and I still believe that. I don't think this team's going to be a playoff team, or I think they're going to be a play-in team if they get in. I still don't trust the Houston Rockets. Regardless of that, I will pick them here. They just came off a win over the Clippers. Now you get a game that actually matters for the Rockets. Again, yeah, it will matter to the Clippers too, but the Rockets just won this game. And if I've learned anything from this season so far, from games that, for two teams that have played back-to-back, there's three that I can think of, okay? The Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards. They played in back-to-back games, and the Wizards won both of them. The Portland Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans. I believe the Pelicans won, the Blazers won both. I think they did. Or did they just cover in the first game? I think they won both, if I'm not mistaken. And the other one I can think of, the Trailblazers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Trailblazers won both those games, okay? That's a pattern we're realizing, obviously. And again, the Rockets, they look like the better team right now. They look like the better team on Wednesday night. They have, so many guys who can actually score, which is surprising, obviously. I mean, not one guy had a huge night on Wednesday night, but again, you got 21 points out of Jalen Green. Fred VanVleet still struggling to shoot the basketball this season, but he had 15. Sengun had 13, but 11 rebounds and 6 assists. You get 15 out of Dylan Brooks in the bench, too. You get 18 out of Tyree Easton. You get 18 out of Amen Thompson. That's a good team. That'll play. That'll definitely play for the Rockets. How long will this Norman Powell Clippers voodoo work? I don't know. He had a poor night against the Rockets on Wednesday. James Harden was the one leading this team in scoring with 19. As a whole, the Clippers just really struggled to shoot the ball that night. Norman Powell goes 5 for 18 shooting. That's not going to win you basketball games. And obviously, again, Powell likely won't continue to shoot 5 for 18. He'll probably be better in this game. But we're going to pick the team that just won the last game. We're going to take the Houston Rockets to make it back-to-back victories over the Los Angeles Clippers and to go to 2-0 against the Clippers on the season and to get their first victory in the in-season tournament. So yeah, give me Houston. They're at home too. I like them to win this game. Next up, we go to our good old friends here in New Orleans. We've got the New Orleans Pelicans hosting the Denver Nuggets. Guys, this is not a competitive basketball game. I don't care. The Pelicans are still banned. They will remain banned until we see either DeJounte Murray or until we see Zion Williamson back on the court. Until then, this team is banned, and this team is one of the worst teams in basketball. Since we started picking against the Pelicans in every single game they've played, they are what? 1, 2, 3. They are 1-6. And of course, their only win is against the Pacers, which pisses me off. But still, we have picked against them every single game since they lost. Oh, that's the other one I was thinking of. Back-to-back losses to the Warriors, right? We've picked against them every single time. And we're going to continue to pick against the Pelicans. I don't care. This team's not covering this game against the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are only getting 5.5 in this game. That's easy money. Jokic is questionable. He will play. Trust me, Jokic is playing. This is light work. They will dominate the Pelicans. I don't care the game's in New Orleans. Jokic is putting together a high-key, just another MVP season. This is ridiculous. I mean, look at these numbers, guys. 30, 14, and 12 over 10 games. Voter fatigue is real, and I've been pumping up Anthony Davis, and I've been making the case for Anthony Davis MVP this entire season. But I mean, my goodness, how can I kind of deny right now that Jokic is not the MVP? The win over the Mavs, 37, 18, and 15. The Heat win, 30, 11, and 14. The Raptors win, 28, 14, and 13. This is ridiculous. Good for the Joker, man. He is a dominant force. They'll beat the Pelicans. The Pelicans are absolutely atrocious. Nobody on this team can really score other than Brandon Ingram. Boston will put up his shots, but I don't care. No Zion, no DeJounte Murray means no victories for the Pelicans, and it will remain that way until those guys come back. I don't care. Brandon Ingram, who I like a lot. I used to have a big poster of Brandon Ingram. Actually, did I? At one point, I might have. That might be a lie. Brandon Ingram at one point in time, I have a Brandon Ingram jersey somewhere from the Lakers. He was my favorite player in the league for a while when he was on Los Angeles. Regardless, Brandon Ingram's not going to carry you to victories with this Pelican squad. I'm sorry. They're very injured. Alvarado's hurt now. Like, it's just cooked. It's cooked for the Pelicans. They're banned for a reason. They will remain banned. And the next time, again, I will show you the ban list. There will be an actual graphic, or there will be an actual, like, actually written out piece of paper with logos on it. I'm not going to show you my messed up handwriting, crumpled piece of paper ban list anymore. Give me the Nuggets. Give me the Nuggets to absolutely dominate. The Pelicans don't even deserve to be in the same arena as them. Next up, we go to the best team in basketball. Yes, it's the Cavs, but also it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. No Chet Holmgren, no problem. They will dominate the Suns at home. Why? Kevin Durant's not playing. Actually, yes, no Durant, no Bradley Beal means no victories for the Phoenix Suns. Nurk is questionable. He'll play. This is a dominant one-sided beatdown, okay? I don't care. They're playing 6'7", 6'6" Jalen Williams at center. That's fine. Of course, Caruso's out. Okay, the other Jalen Williams is out. Hartenstein's still out. That's fine. The Thunder find ways to win games. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a superstar in the NBA. They have a great supporting cast, too. All these guys can play. Their bench is great. The Thunder, again, right now are my favorites to win the NBA championship this season, and I mean that. I love the Los Angeles Lakers, but right now it's the Thunder. They have Shai and Jalen Williams alone, man. That's great. And I said it in their game against the Pelicans. Okay, they can get away with not playing a true center against the Pelicans. Can they get away with it against and against Clippers? They can get away with that. Can they get away with that against the Suns? Yeah, they can. Nurk is good, but Nurk's not going to take over the game. That's what I'm like. Jalen Williams will be okay against Nurkic. The Thunder will not really have to worry until that Spurs game, and we'll see how they deal with Wembanyama. But, they'll just double Wemby and see what happens. They're going to force guys to shoot for San Antonio in that game. We'll see. But that's going to be an interesting game for me, at least, to see how the Thunder kind of adapted that without Chet Holmgren, obviously. Chet and Wemby, I guess, have been touted already as rivals, I guess. Regardless, give me the Thunder to beat the Suns. Again, no Beal, no Durant. This is just going to be rough for the Suns. You saw them without KD in the Kings game. They lost by 23 points. Josh Okogie led the team in scoring, oddly enough. Again, if Beal and Booker were playing, yeah, I would say, we might want to look at plus 7.5 for the Suns here. But no Bradley Beal. I know Beal has not been the best this season, but guys, you're putting it all on D-Book here, which, again, Booker can create for his own shot, but the problem is all the attention of OKC goes straight on Devin Booker now. They know Booker's the only guy who could really take over this game and hurt them, so the Thunder will be more than fine in this game. Give me OKC to win at home, and they'll cover the 7.5 points against the Phoenix Suns as well. Next up, we move on to Golden State. You've got the Warriors hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies play scrappy basketball without John Morant, right? They just stay in basketball games. You saw that in the Lakers one. Again, I was there first. I wasn't there in person to watch them play Portland the other night, and obviously, again, Portland has won back-to-back games since I went to Portland and watched the Trailblazers. It's ridiculous. But the Warriors are the much better team here, guys. Steph Curry he's on an insane level right now. We'll see if Steph keeps it up, but the way Curry's been putting this team on his back is absolutely insane to me. But the thing is, again, the supporting cast has been there for the Warriors all season long too. Now, they might not have the most name they might not have the most name value on this team right now with, Buddy Hield, the Cum Bucket, Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, D'Anthony Mellon, Draymond, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, who I'll show you guys this real quickly. I actually saw Brandon Podziemski at the Santa Clara basketball game. He was sitting there, right? And, Podziemski's right there, right? I'm right behind the basket, right? This is where I'm sitting. But regardless, I see Podziemski, right? Now, I didn't, say anything to him, but they put the camera on him at Santa Clara, and nobody cares. It's really weird. Podziemski was just there a couple of seasons ago. I'm sure they just put him on the big screen so, the ESPN Plus reporters, the ESPN Plus announcers could say, oh, Brandon Podziemski, Golden State Warriors guard, is here at the Santa Clara game. No one in the crowd cared that Podziemski was there. It was kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. Now, maybe the people at the game just didn't know who Podziemski was. I knew who he was. Oh my goodness, that was the first time I noticed. Oh wow, it's Podziemski. He's here. It's kind of odd, though. I'm not going to lie. Regardless, give me the Warriors to beat up on the Grizzlies. Again, Memphis, sure, they're playing good without Ja. They were very competitive in that Lakers game. Jaren Jackson, I've been very impressed with the scoring ability of Jaren Jackson, the way he's able to create for his own shot outside the arc, and really the way he's been dominating down low. I'm impressed. Obviously, there's a reason. Again, Jaren Jackson won the Defensive Player of the Year award a couple years ago, but his offensive production's been really great for the Grizzlies this season. Desmond Bane's still out, I do believe. Scottie Pippen's in the starting lineup now. Obviously, you get Marcus Smart in there as well. Smart's back, but it doesn't really matter. I like the Warriors a lot in this game. We've picked against the Warriors some this season, but I've kind of turned a tide with them. I'm going to pick the Warriors a lot. I'm just not going to bet against Steph Curry, okay? That's just kind of my analysis here. We're not going to bet against Steph. Steph's had back-to-back games where he's had huge nights. The win over OKC dropped 36. The win over Dallas, he dropped 37. I'm picking the Warriors again. I'm picking them to beat the Grizzlies and to go to 1-0 in the in-season tournament. As we go on to our final game of the night, you've got the Sacramento Kings taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel great about this game. Give me the Kings. We're going to light the beam. We're lighting the beam with the Sacramento Kings. I don't see how the Kings don't win this game. Regardless if DeRozan plays or not, regardless if Malik Monk plays or not, the Kings are not losing this game to the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are very dysfunctional right now. They don't really, they've been weird without Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going to straight up say it. This team kind of, I don't know if they need Cat, but they've been worse without Cat. That's not a Julius Randle problem, but I don't know, man. They've lost 3 in a row. Miami, Portland, which is bad. Ant's been great this season, but other than Ant, this team just hasn't been that good. It's the way I see it. They just haven't been all that great besides Anthony Edwards. And the Sacramento Kings, I get their bench depth is horrible right now. They've won 2 of 3, though, and given 2 games were against the Suns, and they lost in between the San Antonio Spurs on the road. But they get Minnesota on this road trip. You know, it's the tail end of a road trip for the Timberwolves. They've been on the road since Tuesday, where they took on the Trailblazers in their first in-season tournament game. Now we think they're going to go 0-2 in the in-season tournament. Again, though, long road trip ending for the Timberwolves. They got to play in Sacramento in this game. The Kings, again, sure, their bench depth is lacking, but they're at home, and I like them to beat Minnesota a lot in this game. The Kings have too many weapons on offense. They've got too many guys who can score, who can hurt the Timberwolves. We're talking about De'Aaron, we're talking about Domas, we're talking about DeRozan, Keegan from beyond the arc, no Malik Monk, but you still got Kevin Huerter. And sure, the bench minutes are going to be absolutely horrid for the Kings like they have kind of been. So that's going to suck, but they should be fine in this game with the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves will definitely outclass these guys in the second unit, though, right? I mean, comparing what the Kings have, obviously the Kings are not going to go they're not going to, go full rotation, just take 5 guys out and put 5 guys in. But if you want to talk about the full second unit for the Sacramento Kings, it's Jordan McLaughlin, Keon Ellis, Doug McDermott, Trey Lyles, Alex Len. That's bad. For the Timberwolves, it's DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Josh Minott, Joe Ingles, and Naz Reid. I mean, that's a lot better than what the hell the Kings have got going on. Regardless, though, the Kings are the better all-around team. They're obviously going to intertwine those starters in that bench unit, or at least for that bench rotation, and the Timberwolves will probably lose this game to the Kings. Again, I don't see a way where Minnesota loses back-to-back to Portland, and they run into Sacramento, and they somehow win that game. Give me the Kings all day long. I like them to win this basketball game, and I think they will cover. Actually, they're dogs, aren't they? Oh, they're dogs. We love the Kings in the spot. Light the beam. Give me the Sacramento Kings beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. And folks, that'll do it for our NBA Cup predictions here for November 15th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back later today and in an hour for our 5 best bets for the college basketball slate. We went 4-1 yesterday on our best bets for the college basketball slate. We're going to try to go 5-0 tonight. So make sure you go check out that video. Our first bet for the college basketball slate today, it's at 10 a.m. on the West Coast. So make sure you go watch that video for our first bet of the day. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.